This may be a surprise to a lot of you out there, but before moving to Ecuador, my husband and I did not visit. So we did not know a lot, except for what we researched and from what a couple of people told us. But other than that, we were kind of in the dark. Let me share some things that I wish I knew before moving here to Ecuador. I did not know that with the rainy season here, it would be so rainy that it would also be so gloomy for days straight. And right now I'm filming with sort of natural light, but it's kind of going away. I feel like the clouds are rolling in. I can see them from my window here. And y'all, the gloominess has been affecting your girl because I all of a sudden battle with like seasonal weather related depression, and it being gloomy and rainy means I'm not going outside, I'm not exploring as much, and I'm just inside a lot. And I know it's like first world problems. I do know that. And it is up to me to make sure that I'm getting myself out despite the weather when it's safe to do so. It's just the willpower to do so. What's unfortunate is the idea of living in another country and not being able to explore that country or the surrounding city because of lack of motivation or the weather. So yeah, that is something I wish I knew before moving here. I don't think that it would change my idea of moving here or not. It would just be something good to know. On the lines of weather, the weather changes throughout the day. You could have one form of weather in the morning, the afternoon could be really warm, and then the evening could be really cold. It really just depends. And then from day to day to day, it could also be different as well. I thrive when the sun is out and the days are warm, but that is also tricky too because we are so close to the sun that if you go outside on a sunny day or even on a gloomy day like this, you need to wear sunscreen. And that's something I also wish I knew before moving here. If there is a little bit of sun and you are uncovered, you could be susceptible to getting burned. Like I've been burned before just by hanging out in the sun for like 15 minutes. The worst sunburn ever. Another weather related thing is the fact that when it's cold, it's cold. And I find that Quito in particular is cooler than I ever would have imagined. I did not think that it would be cool. Today's temperature is in the low 60s currently, with the low being about like 48 degrees or something like that. So that's pretty cold. Another thing I wish I would have known before moving to Ecuador is when it's cold outside, it's going to be really cold inside. At least our apartment and other people's apartments that we visited and homes that we visited have been freezing cold inside as well. It's just the architecture and the style and way that things are built here. Yo, it can be cold. And so on the lines of cold, what I wish I also would have known is, and my husband also agrees, we wish we would have known to bring more carpeting. So if you don't know this, our apartment is half furnished, and then we've furnished a lot of it ourselves as well with the things that we've brought over from the United States. And with those things that we brought over, we did not prepare for cold floors and for like more insulation. And so we were luckily given a couple of rugs with our furnishings, but then had to go out and purchase more rugs here. And I'm going to get to this in another point, but purchasing things here on the local economy is expensive. So a couple of the rugs that we purchased here, I would say are more expensive or comparable to what we would get in the States for the size. With all of that said, the prices that we've paid to really warm up our spaces with rugs that we did end up getting from the States, then bought here, and then were also given with our furnishings, have made this home cozier, more beautiful, and warmer. You don't always want to rely on heating, and that is something else I wish I would have known. There is no centralized heating or centralized air in this particular apartment, and a lot of the apartments and homes that we visited are very much the same. I don't know of an apartment or home that has centralized heating or air conditioning, and so you're kind of on your own with that. That means you might have to buy your own heaters, do hot water bottle tricks. I wouldn't say that not knowing that there wasn't centralized heating in this apartment was a surprise, because we've never had that living abroad. We've at least had like air conditioning units that were like placed and plugged into the wall. So maybe that's something that other people have here that we don't. But those are really helpful because they not only cool the home, but also can warm the home up. So yes, if you're coming to Quito, just know if you can, bring whatever you can to kind of insulate your space, keep yourself warm and cozy. Bring space heaters if you're allowed to do that, layers, sweaters, socks, pants, all the things. It's really important inside or outside for the layers because it's always better to have on more layers so that if it does get warm, you can take them off versus not having enough clothes to keep yourselves warm. Something I wish I would have known before moving here was that our house would be on a hill. Now, I love our apartment. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's got the best view that I've ever seen, that I've ever had. But getting up here can be a little bit taxing. Again, we live on a hill. We live in the mountains. Not that knowing the location of our apartment at a time would have changed my perspective or my wanting to live here. I think it would have just been nice. Something else to note is if you're coming here, SUVs are great to have. A 4-wheel drive style SUV is great to have because it'll help you get up the mountains. If you like off-roading, a lot of people do that here, and they have like their Hummers or Jeeps, Range Rovers, those types of cars for those types of activities. I find that automatic 4-wheel drive SUVs or just automatic cars work really well at helping you maneuver up the streets that are going up mountains and just, you know, managing a lot better, especially because mountains and hills and curves and things will just kind of hit you and you're not really paying attention, and then you're struggling to get up a mountain and you're like, okay, I'm glad that I can do this because my car can do this. It's just one less thing to think about if you can get yourself an automatic vehicle, but an SUV in particular. My husband and I really like ours and we find that it is handy. What you can do if you're an expat living here is purchase your car from somebody that is selling it versus going to a dealership, because you will spend so much money going to a dealership here. And that brings me to my next point. Things here are not cheap. So if you are coming to Ecuador, in my opinion, to look for a drastically reduced lifestyle than what you would have in the United States, I don't think you're going to find it unless you drastically change your expectations and your lifestyle. We're just living in a state of blessings, you know, to where we're like, you know, it's nice to be able to spend the money on the things that we want and then save money for other things as well. So we're not currently traveling as much as we have in the past. One, because we just had a baby, but two, it's not cheap to travel right now, especially from Ecuador going to other places. We have not found that prices to go to like Peru or other neighboring countries have been affordable. So with that being said, we are definitely saving up money so that we can have really great experiences when we do go on a vacation versus traveling a whole bunch like we did in India, for example. That was a different experience because in India, cost of living was drastically cheaper for us, and we also didn't have a baby, and it was also a really great hub, especially Hyderabad, for traveling to different places. So, you know, it's all a balance. It's all like dependent on what you're willing to spend money on and what you're not willing to spend money on. Yeah, so that goes for prices being comparable to the States as well as travel. So make sure when it comes to travel that you are in fact budgeting, even going to the Galapagos, even traveling within the region, traveling internationally. It's all going to cost, right? It's all going to be something that you're going to spend some money for. So my recommendation is to budget, it is to plan, and yeah, hopefully you doing so will be a great return on your investment when you do in fact travel. So that's it for now. Those are all of the things that I wish I knew before moving to Ecuador. If I think of any more, maybe I'll do a part 2. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what other topics you'd like me to cover. It doesn't have to just be Ecuador specific or expat life specific. Yeah, I just like chatting with you guys, and it's just been fun to like sit down for a video. I have this little slice in my day right now. We've gotten him to sleep, which has been really great, and I've been able to get some work done. So if you've been enjoying the videos that I've published recently, make sure you give them a like, give this video a like as well, and of course subscribe to the Jazzy Nation. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go check on him, see if he is ready to wake up, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Mwah.